Angeles Coliseum.
It's Christopher Mad Dog Russo.
I don't know what you can't understand about this. It's pretty obvious.
These two icons will put their talents to the test each week as they go head-to-head and duke it out for gridiron supremacy. You can hear My Guys in the Desert with Brent Musburger weekdays from 6 to 8 Eastern on the Vegas Stats and Information Network, Sirius XM 204.
How are you, my friend? Are you howling, Mad Dog? You sounded good, man.
And you can hear Christopher Mad Dog Russo weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 82.
For you to sit there is ridiculous. Nobody wants to hear this.
The lines are moving and the money is flying.
Show me the money!
Let the battle begin. Here they are. It's Mad Dog and Musburger.
Yes, indeed. Our favorite little segment of the week with the great Brent. Brent, how are you today, pal?
I am fine, Mad Dog. How you doing, big fella? You deep into the baseball playoffs? I tell you.
Yeah, I want to talk to your buddy. Is he there? Where's my man Vinny today?
He's right here.
I am right here, Mad Dog. How are you, buddy?
I'll get to you in a sec, Brent. Can I ask Vinny a couple things first? I may,
Certainly.
right?
Go ahead.
Certainly.
I'm right here. Right here, Mad Dog.
Vinny, how much action do you get in the playoffs in baseball?
Most action of any baseball games of the year will take place right now, Chris. This is the time of year where everybody gets involved with the baseball. So especially you have a day like today where all 8 teams are playing. So 4 games starting off early. We go early right up until the evening.
Do they bet does the public bet via game or they bet series? What do they do?
They bet both. Good question. They bet each individual games. They bet parlays on all of the games, and they'll bet series prices as well as futures as well. In fact, a gentleman stepped up to the window yesterday, took the Indians at 9-1 for 10,000.
Oh, he did. I don't look good right now, but what the heck. Brent, I had 2 this week. Would you like to hear and see if you like them? You ready?
Yes. Let me have them.
Vinny, you're going to like this. On Monday, I took the Brewers in a parlay at plus 117 in Wrigley Field, and I took them with the Chiefs, and I got the Chiefs at minus 3.5, 27-23 final. Well, Brent, your thoughts?
You got the Chiefs at minus 3. You should have been in the Super Contest. We were sitting on a 5 with the Broncos. Actually, I took the Broncos, but I had to shop it. I picked up a parlay card here. I was looking for a 5. I love the Broncos. Anything over 3 in Mile High, I'm either not betting or I'm taking the Broncos. That's how much I think about the home field advantage in Denver.
That's a pretty good bet, is it not, Vinny?
Very good bet when you have that opportunity. You know, that was a very poor result for the house, Mad Dog, as you can imagine. The game falling 4 when there were 3.5s out there and in excess of 4. There were 4.5s and 5s, as Brent indicated. So a middle for the bettors. Good for them. We tip our cap and on we go.
All right, Brent. Here's the second one I took. You ready?
Yes, sir.
I took the over. I did an open parlay, which I love. I did a Raider-Dolphin from a week ago in Miami, the over. It was at 44. Somehow, some way, the Dolphins with Albert Wilson, bless his lucky heart, is scoring touchdowns left and right. 28-20 final, 48. I took that with the Rockies on Tuesday in Wrigley Field at plus 129. You can imagine that was a winner, can you not?
Yeah, because you came out strong against those Cubbies in those 2 bets.
Yes, I did, Brent.
And why the position against Joe Madden and the Cubs lad?
I don't know. Vinny, those are 2 good ones. You have to admit, those are 2 good parlays. Are they not, Vinny?
Let me tell you this. When I hear those, first of all, I know you were never worried, as you can imagine. I don't know whose blood pressure was higher. You were the bookmakers, us bookmakers. But I just want to know this. Based on what you just said about those series of wagers, who do you like this weekend? Because you're living good, my friend.
Well, I had the Indians. I don't like that. Brent, did you have give the folks a good baseball buy here? For instance, the Yankees and the Red Sox. Is that, Brent, let me hear your pick, and then let me hear how Vinny with the activity. Brent, who do you like in the Yankee-Red Sox series in the American League?
The sharp money is on the Yankees. They think that both Sale and Price will struggle in the playoffs. Sale versus the Yankees and the Price against anybody in the playoffs. So liking the Yankees to get into the American League Final, but I like Houston to get back to the World Series and Houston to win it all. Again, they're starting to score runs. They had a lot of injuries they had to deal with. They started to hit the ball well in the month of September. The pitching staff is superior to the one a year ago that won the championship. Garrett Cole was a huge addition, and there's no comparison between this year's bullpen and last year's as far as the Houston Astros are concerned. The only thing we await here in Vegas is for Mattress Mac, the owner of Gallery Furniture in Houston, who again was giving $3,000 plus worth of free mattresses, et cetera, if Houston wins again. And he'll be showing up here soon to lay it off in Las Vegas, my friend.
Mad Dog? Oh, I'm sorry,
Yes,
Chris.
Ben.
Go ahead. No, I was going to tell you the wagering has gone to the Yankees, as Brett indicated, not only in the game but also in the series. Folks have come in and bet the Yankees at plus 145 originally, and now it sits at plus 125. So a pretty big move, not only in the game but also in the series price for the Yankees.
Yeah, I think listen, I don't like to root for the Yankees. Brent knows that better than anybody. But if you made a play on that series, you got to bet the Yankees, right, Vinny?
Nope.
I mean, that's a dead even series. They got a lot of momentum from Wednesday night. Obviously, Sale. If you're a smart bettor, you got to, even if you don't want to, if you're smart, you got to take the Yanks. Do you agree?
What we refer to as a value play, yes, no question about it. The value is with the Yankees, no question about it.
All right, indeed. All right, Brent, it's time for you and I now. Then we'll come back and have some fun here. You've done well so far, Brent. You're 7-4-1. Last week you had the Texans, the Raiders. You lost to Giants. I was 2-1 as well last week. I had the Bears, Tennessee, lost Kansas City. I had it at 5, so I didn't get the right numbers with you guys. I got it later on, more importantly. We're both good, Brent, which is nice to see. 8-4 for me, 7-4-1 for you. You have the honors because obviously you had won the week before, so get us started. Go ahead.
I will take the Baltimore Ravens, Mad Dog. I think they're one of the better teams in the AFC. They've had only one bad quarter. That was the opening quarter at Cincinnati. If you eliminate that setback, they've allowed 3, 14, and 14. Meanwhile, I watched the Cleveland Browns give up 45 points. I think Baker Mayfield is going to be fine down the road, but the Ravens have been lethal under Coach Harbaugh, believe it or not, coming off the Pittsburgh win, okay? If you go back historically, and the Ravens get C.J. Mosley back as a linebacker and a defensive back by the name of Jimmy Smith, who's been serving a 4-week suspension. He's a lockdown defensive back. It'll still take time for Baker and the Browns. I'm going with the Ravens -3 on the road at the Dog Pound.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I mean, that's a good line. You're not going to get the Ravens minus either. The Browns only getting 3 points. I mean, I think you got to run with that, so I'm with you 100%. All right, my first game, I'm going to take the Texans at home. The line is 3, and I'm going to take the Texans against the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to have to show me, Brent, that they can win a road game before I'm going to, take a chance on them away from Texas Stadium or away from Jerry's World. They did not play that great in Seattle. They did not play well in Carolina. They had a struggle last week to beat Detroit, where if the game was in Detroit, they would have lost. So, I mean, the Cowboys right now to me are an 8-8 team. 8-8 team. They're winning home games, a lot of them, but they're going to lose on the road. Houston coming off a nice performance, obviously, with Watson playing well in Indianapolis. A good gut check in overtime. It's a big deal for Houston to beat the Cowboys. They'll be revved up Sunday night, the whole 9 yards. You're only giving up a field goal in this game. The Texans are bad in prime time now. I mean, historically, they stink in prime time. They are 4-22 against the spread in prime time. Can you imagine that? They have lost 22-26 when they're on national television. This game is on NBC, but I'll take a run at Houston here, Brent, against Dallas on Sunday night, game 1.
All right, that offensive line of yours better protect, my friend, because we're coming hard with the Cowboys. All right, my second pick, you're going to love this one because I know you're in love with Kansas City after cashing that nice parlay. I'm going with the Jaguars, catching 3 points it's the game of the week. It's in Kansas City. And when you take a look at this Jaguar defense, it has surrendered 15, 20, 9, and 12 points in 4 weeks. Now, the only problem is you don't know if you're going to get the good Bortles or the bad Bortles. Patrick Mahomes obviously playing like the MVP here in the first month of the season. Hasn't thrown an interception, but he has not faced a defense like the Jaguars. Defense makes the trip into Kansas City. Strong showing in Arrowhead. I'm taking the Jags +3, Mad Dog.
Fair point. It's a good pick. I can see that. How are the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers only a 1-point favored in Detroit against the Lions? I mean, I know it's a rivalry game and everything else, but I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers against, I don't care how hurt he is. I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers against the Lions, I don't know, wherever the game might be, at any time, any shape, anywhere, whether it's Hail Marys or whatever the case might be. He usually figures out a way to beat the Lions on the road. It's not an incredibly difficult place to play. That's not going to Minnesota. And I think the Packers here, who did not play great last week offensively, Rodgers made sure we all knew that. They only had 420 yards of offense. I can't make a big deal about the defense. We know Bills stink. But, the Lions are a team that maybe that Patriot win was more about the Pats than it was about them. They sort of stub their toe constantly. It's sort of a transitional year for Matt Patricia. Rodgers, basically a pick-em game anywhere to me is a play you have to make, and it's a game in Detroit against a 1-3 team. Our run with the Packers at Ford Field there, Brent, on Sunday afternoon, game 2.
All right, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers go to Mad Dog. He's backing up the Texans with a road team and the Packers. Here's my third pick. There are two desperate football teams meeting up in Pittsburgh on Sunday, and I'm going to go with the home team. The Steelers are 1-2-1. The Atlanta Falcons are 1-3, but the Falcons are really beaten up. Their defense has been awful, and now they have got enormous injuries in that secondary. They've allowed 18, 24, 43, 37 points in their 4 games. I know the Steelers did not look good at all against the Ravens. The pressure is on Mike Tomlin. He's only 3-6 in his last 9 games as a Heinz Field favorite, which is hard to believe. However, the Falcons are not exactly road warriors. They're 4-7 against the spread in their last 11. Give me the Steelers giving 3 to the injury-riddled Falcons on Sunday.
All right, good bet. I could see that. I don't like Atlanta in that game either. I'll take this. This third game, I could go a couple different ways. I've kind of liked Miami all week, but their offense and Tannehill, so I'll lay low with them after that bad performance, although they're getting 6.5. The Chargers never cover, so you can't take them. I'm not going to sit there and watch C.J. Beathard all day, so forget that. I like Denver a little bit. The Jets shouldn't be favored against anybody, but the Broncos played a rough Monday night game. I'll take Tennessee in Buffalo. I'll gamble, Brent, that Tennessee with Vrabel there, the fact they went for it on 4th down late, and they were very aggressive, throwing the ball in the end zone. They could have kicked the field goal for the tie. I'll go Titans against the Bills. It's 3.5. Nothing to be too crazy about with the line. Allen had his great game there against the Vikings. Not good last week. Tennessee's got a pretty good defense. They bend but not broke against Wentz last Sunday in Tennessee and Nashville. Mariota's playing well. They got a little better. The receivers, kid made a nice catch in the end zone. Mariota should have picked up some confidence with that 4th quarter and overtime drive. It's only 3.5. Tennessee will play hard physically. They played well in Jacksonville defensively. I think they go after Josh Allen. Vrabel's a defensive guy. He knows the Bills from the Patriot days. I'll take the Titans minus 3.5, Brent, in Buffalo against the Bills. So I'll go that with my third team. So I'll go Tennessee, Dallas, and my third game was Green Bay, and obviously I'll take the Texans. I'll take basically 3 favorites, and Brent's going to run here today with the Jaguars. He's going to take a run at Pittsburgh against Atlanta, and he likes the Ravens against the Browns. Brent, how about the Browns game against the Raiders for a sec? Did you have a major problem? I know from a Raider perspective it worked out. How about the idea of the overrule for the first down late in the 4th quarter? What was your take on that play?
If you go back and look at it, it wound up being a good call. It looked bad because of what happened, the way they spotted the ball. Then they brought out the measurement, and then suddenly it was overruled by New York. Clearly, Hyde's forearm was down before the ball was extended past the first down marker. I can't understand why the Browns didn't saddle up and then go for it on 4th down.
I agree with you on that.
What's the point? I mean,
yes,
you've got half a yard to go. You're moving the ball with Hyde. Chubb was electric. I thought that the two worst calls in the game, Mad Dog, the first one was against the Raiders. It went in favor of the Raiders, actually, and should have been a fumble, a strip sack of Derek Carr. The Browns had recovered the ball, and they ruled that he was down, and they whistled. It was a very quick whistle by this crew. After that, however, the Browns did come back down the field and score anyway. But there was also a quick whistle on Marshawn Lynch on the far side. He was never down by contact. He had a chance to run all day. It was not a good job by the officiating crew, but the spot was accurate. I mean, they went back and they overturned it. It's very difficult to do. Hyde made it look real good as he went down. His forearm just extended. The ball rolled off his fingertips. He's a veteran running back, and most of the time, 90% of the time, he's going to get that in his favor. So, you have to take advantage of the breaks. The Raiders did. Gruden's ability to move the football, they still have not solved their lack of speed on defense. It's going to come back and bite them in the butt as we go forward. But they got their first one. I was very impressed with Baker Mayfield. He's going to be a fine quarterback, even though he threw 2 interceptions and fumbled twice. He'll learn how to move in the pocket. He's very smart. He has a very quick release, and he's got a strong arm, just like we knew he had when he was down at Oklahoma.
Is Gruden into it, Brent? You see him every week. Has he been wrapped up? Is he loving it? How about his return? What can you tell me about his back on a sideline deal? What's up with that?
He loves it. He loves the passion. He loves people criticizing him. He loves the news conferences. He loves the spotlight. He does it all alone when he calls plays down on the sideline. No one is sequencing any better as an offensive play caller in the National Football League than John Gruden. He is completely into it. Obviously, as the season wears on, he'll probably wear down himself because he's up early in the morning and he stays late at night, but he loves being back and doing what he's doing, believe me. And the criticism, for example, over the Khalil Mack trade, it just rolls off his back. He's just accustomed to it. He loves to kind of pull the chain of the mass media that covers him, and he's a delight to be around, let me tell you.
Hi, into that. Vinny, was there any action on the Vegas team as far as Stanley Cup is concerned based on what happened to him last year? I know there were some folks who made some bets and the books took a big hit. How about with the beginning of the NHL season? Was there some plays made on your local Vegas hockey team?
Yeah, Mad Dog, what happened? First of all, yesterday's game, let's talk about yesterday's game first against the Flyers. Early money came in on the Flyers, but for the last 2 hours, just like last year, it was all about the Golden Knights, and even on the puck line, laying a puck and a half, but taking a price on the Golden Knights at plus 170, plus 180, and of course the Flyers cashed last night. Vegas Golden Knights were bet over on the point total for the season from 97 to 98.5, and I think that was based mainly on getting Pacioretty and Stastny in the trades. A lot of folks were hoping that they would get Carlson from the Senators, but that didn't happen. Sharks did get a lot of play, and the Sharks, rightfully so, even though they stumbled the other night, they're the ones who got the biggest adjustment in the future book, down from about 10-1 to right now about 7 or 8-1.
Good job, Vinny. Well done, Brent. Talk to you next week, pal. Appreciate you coming on as usual today.
All right, Mad Dog. Always enjoy being with you. We're going to take a break and come back. My Guys in the Desert coming up next. VSiN.com, Sirius XM 204.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
Muhammad Ali went up into the mezzanine to one of the luxury boxes. They had a cot up there, and he was taking a nap. We didn't even know it. Frank Sinatra came in with the entourage. He sang the national anthem that night prior to Ali Frazier won. But I walked out toward the ringside just to kind of get the feel of the environment, and all of a sudden, Ali came out on the balcony and started screaming at the top of his lungs, "I am the greatest. I am the greatest." Just as only Muhammad.
Okay, so tell everybody how much you put on this ticket then. Again, a 10 kind of way parlay that cashed in, and then how much you won.
It was an $18 bet, and it paid 76,700 Canadian.
Now that's a weekend, my friend.
Yep.
And so you already have the $76,000 plus in your account right now, then?
I have basically transferred out about $54,000 already.
People ask me all the time. My number one question is newbies on Twitter saying, "Hey, Crack, can you help me out with this? I'm trying to do this. What should I do? How should I find?" Listen, I hate to give a shameless plug, but turn on VSiN. Seriously, I mean, for sports betting, where else are you going to get 24-hour network, or where else are you going to get a network like this to help people just by turning on a Sirius radio or going to vsin.com? I'm not trying to really, you didn't tell me to do this. I'm just telling you the truth. The people at home should subscribe to this and get the information. It's a great start for them.
They didn't look good last week. Didn't look great against Jacksonville. They're coming back home. The situations and the numbers for me here favor Miami, but I'm not bucking New England at home. They're 15-3-3, laying 7 or less at home against the spread since 2013. They've defeated Miami 6 straight times here. Miami in those 6 games has scored more than 17 points just once. I'm not going to go against my situations and the numbers, but like I said, I'm not going against New England either.
Well, I'm back with my buddy Vinny over here, and it's interesting. The Mad Dog, among other teams, took the Green Bay Packers, and I should tell you, full disclosure, Vinny has convinced me in the Super Contest to take Detroit. So I was very happy to see Mad Dog jump on the Packers, along with Houston, by the way. He took Houston and not Dallas. Mm-hmm. Houston -3, Titans -3.5. I've got the Ravens and the Steelers both minus a field goal, and the Jaguars catching a field goal in Kansas City. My Guys in the Desert coming up next. vsin.com, Sirius XM 204.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
That's a bettable game. That's a bettable, watchable game. Even though, listen, I love the Dodgers. I was once a season ticket holder. But the numbers here, Vinny, are all on the Giants. You get Madison Bumgarner.
This is their postseason.
Absolutely.
Maul hit it on the head. It's the Dodgers and the Giants.
Bumgarner wins my bet tonight. I'll wear a San Francisco Giant cap on Monday, regardless of what the Raiders do. Okay? I will wear a Giant cap. Remember, because you know what it is. Cash and tickets is what it's all about. Just walk up, get a ticket from my guy Jimmy.